Is it a time to pull out of stocks for good? Cathie Wood on bubbles, innovations and creative distractions. Why are people moving their money out of the stock market and stockpiling cash? Why is there so much bubble talk all over the place? Is it time to pull out of the stocks for good? What does Cathie Wood have to say about all that? Hello everyone and welcome back to Investing with Tony. My name is Antoaneta and today I want to talk about this new trend of investors pulling out of positions and moving towards cash. Before we jump right in, I just want to remind you to like, share and leave a comment if you enjoy my content and want to help the community grow. So, I'm not talking about isolated cases or weird headlines. There is actually more cash held today in money market funds than in the great financial crisis back in 2008. And what does that mean? That everyone is worried about a bubble, of course. Recently, we've had two major bubble situations. One in the year 2000 and one in 2008. In 2000, it was the tech bubble. Many people lost a lot of money and many of them just gave up on the market altogether. In 2008, it was the housing bubble. Same things, just with the real estate market. Maybe you weren't actively invested in this field at the time it happened, or perhaps you weren't even interested in investing at all back then. For example, I wasn't financially affected by the tech bubble because I still had not started my investing career. I was still trying to build up my very first business here in UK, so all of my time, energy and money went into it. But that doesn't mean I should just completely ignore what happened back then, because for all I know, it may happen again. Oh, and also, these events are pretty interesting, and you know me, I don't like passing up opportunities to learn new stuff. So, people are looking for signs of a potential stock market bubble for 2021. A lot of investors are worried, even some of the big names out there. People are pulling their money from the market and stockpiling cash. Are they right? Well, I can't tell you for sure, of course, because if you've been paying attention to my videos earlier, you already know that nobody can accurately predict the stock market. Nobody. However, I don't believe that is as bad as they think, and neither does Cathie Wood. Actually, she says that this is not a bubble situation at all. She thinks that the market justifies the current price levels. So, well, here's what Cathie Wood has to say about this. Basically, Cathie believes that what we see today is just the result of what happened 20 plus years ago. When the digital tech stuff really took off, things started changing drastically. Back then, businesses weren't nearly as digitalized as they are today. The internet was much simpler and the tech wasn't really at the place where everyone would walk around with the powerful computers that fit in their pockets. The first iPhone example came out in 2007. We've come a really long way in a very short time frame. Cathie thinks that investors caught it way too early, which is why the tech bubble collapsed back in 2000. But today, we do have the technology that was lacking back in 2000. She believes that we will see a lot more businesses like Amazon that just keep growing year after year. If we can reasonably expect something like that, then the prices we are currently seeing in the stock market are 100% justified. So, tech innovations and creative distractions. Cathie also has a warning for institutional investors. What they should be worried about is not our innovation-based strategies, but about their own strategies, because the other side of disruptive innovation is creative distractions. Okay, so and what is creative distraction that she's talking about? Well, here are two examples of two big businesses of the past that failed to adapt and went poof as a result of creative distraction. Blockbusters, movie and game rental giant back in the day. What happened to them? Their business model simply couldn't stand up to the new tech that came out. Why would that average person go out and rent physical copies of movies and games when they can just stream them on demand without leaving the comfort of their own homes? So, the innovative model of Netflix led to the creative destruction of businesses like Blockbusters. Toys R Us, another business that was pretty much everywhere back in the day, is now filing for bankruptcy. They had a ton of physical stores all over the US and in other countries, and were pretty much to go to place to buy toys for your children. But then Amazon happened. Why go out to the store when you can just order whichever toy you like and have it ordered directly to your doorstep? So Cathy believes that soon we will see this play out once again, but on a much bigger scale. When we are talking about the SP 500, she said, we think that creative destruction is going to impact nearly 50% of the entire index. Cathy is all about looking at the bigger pictures and planning for the future. Just because your business model is doing great with today's technology doesn't guarantee that we'll be able to adapt to the new innovations. The dangers of innovation. The innovation is great for the end users, of course, but it can really hurt businesses. Woods believes that half of the entire SP 500 will be negatively impacted by the new innovations. And I can see her point. A relatively small but well implemented innovation could change the entire playing field overnight. The tech field changes really quickly, and if big, well-established businesses have one major flaw, it is their inability to adapt. If your entire business model is based around the currently available tech, it would be pretty challenging to adapt to a new infrastructure. Add to that the fact that many big, weak, excess and managers don't like changing things if they work because they may not work as well after the change. And you've got a recipe for disaster in your hands. And please don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that they are all just bad at their jobs. These companies are the big players for a reason, and I'm sure that the management teams understand the risks. But here is the thing, the bigger the organization, the more people you need to convince to get things moving. One of the most significant risks to their businesses is posed by their own greatness. If you think of it like that, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? They've got so much money and they've got a ton of shareholders and managers who all have a say in the matter. But that same thing could easily spell their downfall, because getting a usually pretty drastic change becomes progressively harder the more people you need to convince. The value trap, and why the human factor is so important for long-term success on the stock market. Have you ever seen a stock that seems like it's going far for fantastic price with low price to book value and pays an amazing dividend? If you're just looking at the numbers, it is an excellent company all around. But a lot of these stocks may not do well in the future. And Cathy as well believes that most of the high dividend yield companies should focus on reinvesting in the business and innovating. But we are just investors, yes? We can't really tell the management what to do, yes? So instead of worrying about it, we should just take our money elsewhere. Like Cathy says, invest in the companies that are doing the disruption, not in the ones that will be disrupted. That's really, really important. Of course, institutional investors really like their traditional value type stocks. This strategy has proven its effectiveness year after year, and they use it because it just works well for them. However, they don't take the human factor into consideration. They just look at the numbers. Basically, this strategy can be summed up with the numbers are right, then it's okay to invest. But what Cathy disapproves here, the market right now is really highly algorithm driven. And if an algorithm is driven just to variables, it is going to make a lot of mistakes. If the variables are price to book and dividend yield, they are going to be very, very wrong. This is because the companies that can consistently deliver good results by these metrics are generally the type of monolithic business we just talk about. They figured out what works and they just keep doing it more of that because it makes them good money for the time being. They're most likely not overly invested in innovation because innovation is uncertainty. And nobody on the market likes uncertainty. Cathy specifically warns about retail. At the moment, online retail makes up about 20% of the total retail sales. But it's just getting started. Younger people are a lot more comfortable with the notion of doing their shopping online, and a lot of them are just now starting to acquire purchasing power. Financial services, digital wallets and crypto are the big danger here. Every financial institution or service that fails to adapt will get hit really hard by the new innovations. The energy sector. EVs and green renewable energy sources are the future. There is really no debate here. And yes, there is a ton of money in the energy sector, money invested in companies that are not innovating. These companies are going to get disrupted really, really hard once the new tech really takes off. And that is just a matter of time, really. So, in closing, there may be a bubble after all, just not the type of bubble everyone is looking out for. Look out for value traps. The numbers are important, but they are not everything. Never disregard the disruptive potential of innovation. It's always better to put your money with the companies doing the disruptions. Let's just take Tesla for example. It's Cathy's favorite company, my favorite company too, which I started investing back in 2018. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. It really helps the channel grow and really appreciate it. Why? Because it takes me a lot of time to create these videos. And I really will not cost you anything just to press the button like and comment down below and share with your friends. So, I really appreciate your time, spending your precious time to watch my videos. So, till next time, I'll say big thank you and I'll see you next time. Stay very, very motivated. I'll see you soon.